fallout now in Worcester, Massachusetts, following the chaotic ICE arrest of a woman last week. Worcester police are now releasing dramatic police body cam video of the incident. What you see here, neighbors and a family member trying to stop ICE agents from arresting the woman. Worcester officials say after considering the chaos that erupted, they're now exploring how their employees, including police, should interact with federal immigration agents. CNN's Gloria Pezmino is following all of this. Gloria, help put all of this into context for us.
Yeah, Fred, and that's important because what we're seeing here is essentially a municipality that is struggling with what to do when federal law enforcement agents show up in its town to enforce immigration law. And that's exactly what we were seeing here. You had ICE enforcement show up to Worcester, Massachusetts to arrest a woman. And it was during that attempt that chaos erupted, as you can see in the video. Now, the city has released the video in part to try and get some clarity about exactly what happened here. Now, let me explain what you're looking at here. There was a woman in a house in Worcester, Massachusetts, taking care of an infant and a 16-year-old. ICE showed up. She called the 16-year-old's mother to come and help. As it turns out, ICE was there to arrest the mother of the 16-year-old. When they moved in to arrest her, the 16-year-old tried to block the ICE officers from being able to take her. It turns out that that was the teenager's mother who they were trying to arrest. Now, it gets really chaotic here, where she is holding an infant, you can see it there, and she is standing in front of a police vehicle in an attempt to block it. And this is where things really begin to fall apart, right? Because they are blocking this police video. They're holding an infant in their arms, putting that child in danger. And now you have immigration officers who are trying to make an arrest and local police who are trying to keep things under control. There's a lot of people surrounding the officers. People are chanting, "Do not take the mother," again, that the woman that ICE is there to arrest. And so this is a really chaotic situation, and that's why local police responded. Now, the 16-year-old was eventually arrested and charged. You can see there that she's holding the infant, along with another woman who was also charged with assault and battery on a police officer, among other charges. Now, we are told that the woman who was going to be arrested by ICE, according to DHS, she had been previously arrested by local police for assault and battery with a dangerous weapon and assault and battery on a pregnant victim. That's who they were there to arrest. Now, as I said, the city of Worcester tried to release this video in order to bring clarity to what happened here. And here's what the city manager had to say in part, quote, "I want to reassure our community that the municipality will never target individuals based on their immigration status and reaffirm that the City of Worcester and Worcester Police Department does not assist ICE with civil detainments, according to Massachusetts state law, but they may not interfere with it." So the city manager there acknowledging that there's only so much they can do in a situation like this where it becomes so chaotic, where you have both the public and law enforcement officers potentially in danger. The local police had to step in. Fred?
All right. Gloria Pezmino, thank you so much for that. All right, the U.S. Supreme Court has blocked the Trump administration from moving forward with deportations under the 1798 Alien Enemies Act, a sweeping wartime authority. Friday's ruling from the nation's top court applies to a group of Venezuelan immigrants in northern Texas. The justices sent the case back to an appeals court to decide other underlying questions, including whether the president's move is legal. President Trump lashed out at the ruling on social media, writing, quote, "The Supreme Court won't allow us to get criminals out of our country," end quote. All right, joining me right now with more on all of this, the impact of this ruling, Jeffrey Jacobowitz. He's an adjunct law professor at the Washington College of Law at American University. He's also a trial attorney. Great to see you, Jeffrey.
Good to see you.
All right, help us understand the significance of this ruling. Did the court rule, at all on the legality of using the Alien Enemies Act, or instead deferred it to a lower court?
No, what they did really is defer it to a lower court. And they didn't say you cannot do it, but they said that these deportees are entitled to due process. And you can't just pick them up and take them out of the country. You need to have hearings pursuant to the Fifth Amendment. And this hasn't been happening. And so the court decision is once again against the Trump administration on an immigration matter.
So now this will mean due process to anyone moving forward, but how about retroactively for those who have been deported or are about to be processed and be deported? If they have not been given due process, will that now have to be extended according to this ruling?
Well, that's a very good question, Fred, because the issue will be, will the Trump administration follow this ruling? And they have not followed some of the rulings. They have followed others. And, for example, Judge Boasberg asked them to bring the planes back or stop the planes, and the Trump administration did not do that. So you have people already who have been taken out of the country and are in El Salvador. The court is saying you cannot do that. The court is saying you need to have hearings first to legitimize it. And obviously, I think lower courts will rule that these people have to be brought back once their lawyers file for hearings. The question is, will they do it? Will the Trump administration do it?
Okay, and you just underscored already the Trump administration has defied at least one order or two. So then what happens if this continues to be a pattern of defying a court order, no matter what level of court it is?
Well, Judge Boasberg already started looking at contempt proceedings against DOJ officials or others, and the D.C. Circuit put a hold to it. But now we have a Supreme Court decision which is clear-cut that there has to be due process. We have Judge Innes who has asked the administration to bring somebody back. They haven't done it. And so the only way you can really rectify it is to hold people in contempt, but it doesn't mean that ultimately it will happen, because if you hold somebody in contempt, Trump can pardon them.
But he wouldn't or couldn't pardon them until the end of the year. But so in the duration or in the midst of it all right now, what would contempt actually look like for any of these parties who would be disrespectful of an order?
Sure, there can be civil contempt or criminal contempt. Generally, criminal contempt, you have to refer over to the Department of Justice, and Attorney General Bondi hasn't shown any inclination to hold people in contempt. So if it's civil contempt, you can fine people. And it could be, a big fine, it could be smaller fine, but that is one way to do it. And a contempt proceeding could impact on, for example, a DOJ attorney's ability to practice before the bar in D.C.
Have the muscles of the judicial system ever been stretched like this before, from what you can recall?
Well, there have been stretches, but this is pretty blatant and direct. And even statements by the administration about, well, they will likely follow most of the decisions or something along those lines is somewhat surprising. And we're in new territory here. And whether they will follow it is really a $64,000 question.
All right. Jeffrey Jacobowitz, always great to see you. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Fred.